Hi everyone, today's topic is on the Great Migration. The Great Migration from Nigeria to Canada. The concerns, the elevation, the progression, the supposed status, the state of the Nigerian economy, the African economic death. I have three guests that I have known for a very long time with me today. Femi Akinfolari, Head of Corporate Strategy, Wema Bank, has been with us here previously, where we talked about banking in Nigeria. And Femi resides in Nigeria, actually. Dayo heads the commercial department of Africa World Airlines, a fast-growing regional airline with its base in Accra, Ghana. He lives in Accra. Ify is an associate lawyer at BDP LLP, and she's currently on secondment to CNOC Petroleum North America as a service contractor and an in-house IP contract specialist. Myself, I'm Bimbola, an Energy Analyst, sales manager, and a data scientist, and I love spending time with my friends and family when I'm not podcasting. Before I continue, I'd like to acknowledge the support of PaySop Invest, a global financial advisory and wealth management firm based in Germany, France, and Nigeria. If you're looking to create generational wealth and understand how to manage your finances, do contact the PaySop Invest team on their website, paysopinvest.com, and the social media pages. They offer services to individuals and corporate bodies alike. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome you listeners to Empowered by BlueSitron, a podcast where we discuss lifestyle, culture, and more. So, again, the Great Migration. This is an important topic. We see a lot of brain drain happening on the African continent. However, whose fault is that really? Is it the failed state of the African nation? As this has seen youths, an able-bodied working population seeking greener pastures outside of the motherland. I'm going to start with you, Ify. You reside in Canada. Why Canada?
Back to the question, I would like to believe that people choose Canada as a preferred destination because of Canada's welcoming attitude to migrants. Canada has its express entry provisions where people that come into Canada come in as permanent residents. There's something about coming into a country and you already have a certain footing. You know that you're welcome there when they give you benefits that are ordinarily accorded only to citizens. The only difference between the permanent resident and the citizen is basically that you do not have the right to vote. But apart from that, when you come into Canada, immediately you come into Canada, you feel warm, you feel loved and welcomed, and you know that within a very short time you get qualified to be a citizen. Students also that come into Canada, they have a very fast track to becoming citizens and permanent residents and citizens. And I believe that this sense of assuredness that once you come in, you're welcomed and you can integrate yourself into society quickly makes people choose Canada as a preferred destination.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Ify. So basically, it's that, does that relate to specific basic human needs? Because it's not all about just, a nicer migration option, and you're treated as Canadians, even though if one doesn't have the citizenship, the passport just yet, but you have the same rights. The only difference is you cannot vote, right? But what is missing from Nigeria that has made you, as an example, move to Canada then?
Well, in Nigeria, in a lot of situations in Nigeria, for a lot of people put in a lot of effort, but they don't see the desired results.
Right.
Yes, Nigeria has some issues, like definitely most people feel that before you can get a good job or get to a certain position, you must know certain people. So you have people that qualify for positions that don't get there. So Nigeria may not actually be acknowledging the talents they have, and it can lead to a level of frustration. People know what they can do, people know what they can offer to society, but they are not allowed to get in there. Meanwhile, people that don't have as much talent and cannot contribute as much are given that opportunity. Nobody would want to be in a situation where they are disfavored or unacknowledged, and sometimes this can lead to people leaving to places where they feel welcomed and their talents are, can be discovered and built upon. So for me, I think I wasn't having access to the kind of opportunities I wanted and what I felt I could do in the first instance. And also, in the second instance, I wanted to live in a place where I'll feel secure and comfortable, where my children will feel secure and they know and they believe they can be anything they want to be, as long as they put in the required efforts. Right.
Interesting. And Ify, I hear you, and I do agree with you on the importance of being in a place where you can be anything you want to be. I was in Cape Town a week and a half ago, or 2 weeks ago now. A week and a half ago. And I met a young guy at the conference that I attended. He looked at my name and he said, "Oh, you're a speaker?" I said, "Yes." And he said, "You're Nigerian as well?" I said, "Yes." And I looked at his name and his company. I said, "Oh, interesting company. Never heard of you." And he laughed. He said, "Yes, because that's my personal company." This guy would not be more than, I may be wrong, because obviously Black people, we don't age. It may just be even 30, but this guy can pass for 24, 25 to be fair. And told me that was his personal company, although he works for the city of Cape Town, right, which is the government. But he's a geospatial expert. And then I said to him, "Geophysicist?" They said, "No, geospatial." I said, "Okay, that's interesting." And then I said to him, "So why are you doing this in Nigeria, or are you offering your services in Nigeria and all of that?" And he said, "Well, if he gets work, then yes, he would do so, but he lives in Cape Town." I actually thought he had come in from Nigeria. I said, "No, I live in Cape Town and I work for the city of Cape Town, which is with the government." I said, "Okay, interesting." And then he said something interesting. He said, "I wouldn't get to even come to this event if I was living in Nigeria." And then I was taken aback. And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because back home, you never get the opportunity. If you really want to be something, if you really want to grow, you have to get out of the country." I mean, I felt a bit of like a gut punch. Do you understand? Because I am Nigerian. He is as well. And we tend to want to celebrate where we come from. But then when we also see that people don't necessarily get opportunity back home, it is quite sad. And that takes me to my next question, which is, why did you leave? But before I come to you, Ify, let me pivot this to Dayo, because Dayo is in Accra and he's heading an important department of an important industry. Dayo, why did you leave Nigeria? Was it because your work took you there, or you just thought, what, Ghana is better in terms of, maybe economically, I don't know, or maybe there's a better quality of life, I don't know. So why did you leave Nigeria, Dayo?
Thank you very much, Bimbo. Hello, everyone again. So that's a very, very big question for me to answer. Why did I leave? I'll answer this in two forms. The first one, working for a global industry, I work in the aviation sector. I'd always realized that, let me put it this way. When I started my career in the aviation sector, I would see this dichotomy where locals are paid this amount of money and foreigners are paid as experts. So it had always been clear to me that, you need to actually get to a certain level. You need to start to earn in foreign currency, and you need to become an expert. So when the opportunity came, so even long before I even finally got the job in Accra, I had been looking for opportunities outside of the country within the aviation space. You're taking me to interviews in Qatar, Dubai, and different places. But I think it wasn't just the right time yet. So when the opportunity in Ghana came up, I was quite excited about it. And of course, like every new thing, you never really know what it brings, So
that's true. Yeah.
I took the step. I didn't go in with both my feet. I left my family in Lagos, and I was doing the shuttle. until I remember like 6 months into it, and I went on a trip home, and I came back to Ghana. I got out of the airport, and I was like, it's good to be home. And that day I pinched myself. Are you now saying Ghana is home to you? Anyway,
wow.
Fast forward 3 months later, I moved to family. And that,
Right.
just tells you it was I brought my family in to visit sometime. I bought a ticket for them for 10 days. And the kids kept impressing on me that they changed their ticket. We want to spend more time. And they ended up spending a month. Why? Because things were just saner. Just using that word, things were just a bit saner. You know what it's like living in fast-paced Lagos. Femi, sorry about that. You know what it's like living in fast-paced Lagos and all of that. And just the fact that you could predict things. The predictability of everything. It's when systems work, it just, people just get drawn to it. And that is actually the problem with why I feel a lot of people are leaving Nigeria. So, some of them, like myself, would maybe started off with getting a job opportunity, economic-wise, you just want something better for yourself. And at the end of the day, you just start to wonder, why do I have to spend so much money in Lagos and not get value for what I'm spending?
Yes.
So that's it for me. That's why I'm here today. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but that's what today says.
Thank you, Dayo. That's really deep. Just like you say, you got to Accra and you were like, "Oh, I'm home," and then you had that feeling like, "Is Ghana now home?" So yeah, these are things one needs to think through when, as you say, predictability of things. Because back in Nigeria, it's not there. It can be mind-blowing. But Ify, you mentioned something. You said, you wanted your family, your children to be at a place where, they can be something and be appreciated for that thing. So thinking about things, was that why you left Nigeria?
Thank you, Bimbo. Yes, I would say to a large extent, that was the reason why I left Nigeria. Right, to have my children have that certainty that they can be whatever they want to be, and also have a very good quality of education, which I believe Canada affords. When I was leaving Nigeria, I was leaving with cold feet because, going to a new country, going at the same time with your kids, and moving at everybody at once, turning their life around, from having so many relatives around them to having no relatives. No family, and trying to make new friends, new schools, and everything. It was quite a challenge and an adventure at the same time.
Yeah.
I believe life is what you make of it. So
yes,
it was something that I set out my heart to do, but at the same time, I weighed the risk. I knew that, going to Canada in the first instance, you have to have this amount of money to sustain you for a certain period of time. You have to start looking for a job immediately, start studying and doing everything at the same time. Everything you want to achieve, try and start implementing them all at the same time, whilst still having that fallback that if finally things don't work out, I always have where I'm coming from, that I can return back to. So it was quite an adventure, I would say, but I was happy that, coming to Canada, my dreams, what I imagined it to be was actually came into fruition. And it's been
good for you since then.
Really good, yes. It really has
fantastic. And how long have you been in Canada now?
I've been in Canada for 3 years and 3 months.
So 3 years plus, right? Okay. Interesting. And well, thank you, Ify. So there's something that Dayo mentioned: the system works, predictability of things. I love those two: predictability of things, system works. For as long as I've known Nigeria, as a kid growing up, Nigeria's the giant of Africa. But then Dayo goes to Accra and things work, system works. So is Nigeria really a giant of Africa? What does the future hold? Even the near future, literally tomorrow, next week, 2 weeks time, next month, next year. what does the future hold for the Nigerian youth? Femi, this is where I bring you in because you live in Nigeria, so we want to hear from you.
Well, Bimbo, I sort of have a different view. I would approach it from a different perspective. So I first started living outside Nigeria and then came back to Nigeria. So I feel that, yes, there are good reasons for not living in Nigeria, but I might disagree a bit with some of the reasons I've heard so far. So I will give you 3 reasons I agree with. Security. Insecurity is very high. You've got a number of incidences, you've got a lot of flashpoints, etc. Yeah. Opportunities are also good, but I'm not sure I agree with that opportunity thing. Let me explain it this way. I've gotten a couple of friends who just finished their masters in the UK. They've been searching for jobs for a while now, so you've got a huge entourage of Nigerians in the UK who do what's the word for all this really bad paid
menial jobs.
Menial jobs. Yeah.
Yes. So I feel that yes, there is opportunity, but really there's opportunity for well-educated Nigerians. And it's not all Nigerians that are well-educated in that way. So there are two key reasons why Nigerians run away. It is because, sorry I used the word run away. But
I was just about to call you out on that.
Apologies for that. It's because you're looking for greener pastures, for example. There are great opportunities, great schools for your kids, etc. You're trying to avoid the insecurity we have here. I lived in Amsterdam for a few years. I lived in the Middle East also. And honestly, great places, but what did I miss the most? I missed being around Nigerians. There's just something about us. There's a vibrancy, there's a love, there's hilarity that you find in a Nigerian community. So I lived in Amsterdam in the same address for 2 years, and I never met my neighbor or got to speak to my neighbor. So I feel that for the first part of answering my question, I would say there are good reasons for leaving Nigeria, but also there are great things about Nigeria. Really, absolutely amazing things about Nigeria. So that's the first part. When we speak to the future, I will then, I might be a bit more bleak because over the last 2 years, things have changed a bit. I came back to Nigeria in 2009 because I was in a class in Boston, right? And my lecturer from Colombia, who I absolutely loved, said to me, this is the best time to move back to Nigeria. He was teaching a class around home offices, creating home offices for the wealthy. And he was like, Nigeria has a lot of wealth. There's this, there's that. There's a whole diaspora moving back. And I think there was a diaspora moving back after the Obasanjo administration came back into power and the civilian era started, and there were lots of new opportunities in there. What has changed over the last, maybe 10 years is insecurity has gotten so much worse. Right. Unemployment has gotten so much worse. 33% youth unemployment is unsustainable. So those are key things that the government has not been able to do anything around. But on the flip side, there is something I also believe in, which is the Nigerian spirit. So what has changed in Nigeria now is the youth are no longer waiting for government to give them jobs. They are on social media creating jobs 24/7. They're doing fashion, they're doing entertainment, they're creating content. So what has happened now is not everybody can move away. Therefore, the people who are staying are having to be extremely creative about creating the opportunities for themselves. And then also insecurity. So around insecurity, I've been back in Nigeria for 10 years. I've never been robbed. I was robbed last year. and I was robbed earlier this year, and it sort of created a new perception for me. It scared me. And what did I do? I got a taser, because in Nigeria you're not allowed to have guns or any of those things. So I got a taser, and now I always have that in the car. So what I'm trying to say is, we're creative. When there's a problem, we try to face it in whatever way we can. And if there's an opportunity to move, we might move. But still, for the people here, we're finding a way to survive day in, day out. So the future is, I don't think the future is too bleak, but there are really, really big problems that we need to solve. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Femi. Thank you. I think that's really succinct with most of what you have, the way you've put a rather wide view of what the future may hold in Nigeria, or to the Nigerian youth. And I hear you. I hear you about the Nigerian youth, doing things and not waiting for the government anymore. And this is the thing, you see. I also hear you about the hilarity of the Nigerians, and also missing Nigerians, or missing just fun-loving people around you when you happen to live in the West. I know this for sure, because I do live in the West myself. So it's a case of, where do you live as well? If you're in London, I always call London an extension of Lagos. But also, when we say Nigeria, we tend to blanket Nigeria sometimes as Lagos. Nigeria is a whole lot bigger than Lagos. But of course, the insecurity, as you mentioned, this is something that we have heard, or we also do see, in the media, and also from people that we know or have, from the country within the northern side. We see what's been going on within that region and all of that. So it's mind-blowing, and it's scary at the same time. And at the same time, you also look at the resilience of the average Nigerian out there. And is it because the government has failed its people so much that the people have had to put things in order for themselves? On a good day, people are expected to, the reason the government is there is because the government is employed by the people. So if the government is not doing what the people have employed them to do, but rather they are lining, their pockets or so, with with the funds that is meant for the people, then you start to wonder. And this then goes back to the system working, as Dayo mentioned, and also as Ify has mentioned, for Canada, which is why people are migrating. Of course, we're really talking about, again, it goes back to migration to Canada, because Nigerians are migrating in droves to a lot of countries, but Canada stands out. And why, again, goes back to what Ify mentioned to us. What Canada is offering is really juicy. It's like getting a job offer. You're working somewhere, and then, another offer is so juicy you can't afford to say no. Canada makes you feel welcome. That's not the same for most European countries, to be honest. European countries, you will earn their citizenship. You will earn it with sweat. I'm not saying Canada dishes out their citizenship, as they please. No, you also have to, you need to follow the law. You need to follow the rules and all of that, and you will be treated equally as anybody else. So that said, Femi, you mentioned returning back home. Now, how can change be implemented in Africa? Because it's not just Nigerians that are immigrating. So people are immigrating from everywhere, from a lot of African nations to the West, because they think the West is heaven, and it really is not. Especially for those of us that live there, we do know that. So, how can change be implemented in Africa to help diasporans return, if and when they want to? Let me take this question again. How can change be implemented in Africa to help the diasporans return, if and when they want to? Because it's not everyone that wants to return. I have friends that are not interested in returning back to or Ghana or wherever, their route is. Yeah. So Dayo, how can change be implemented here?
Oh, well, So implementing change. So maybe I should first put this question to you. Who is asking this? Is this from the citizens in diaspora, who want to come back? They're the ones saying, this is what we would like to see before we would consider coming back. Or is this a leader in Nigeria thinking, what can I actually do to make my people want to come back? So you get my point, Bimbo.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I would like to look at it if it's based on what the people want. The truth is, the average Nigerian doesn't really ask for much. The average African indeed doesn't really ask for much. Femi mentioned the fact that there are still things to live for in Nigeria and in Africa, and that is just the basic truth. It's just this little sore points that just stand out. Basic things, like you said, systems that work. Living in Lagos, I was my own local government. When I say that, meaning I had to provide potable water to drink in my home. I had to provide electricity. I would have a generator, I would run diesel, I had inverter, I had solar. When you look at all of these things that you put in place, these are the things that actually stifle people, that make people think like, why do I have to work so hard, make all the money, and then spend it? What people just want is that basic lifestyle where you get value for money. So, and the truth is, to get all of this, in my opinion, is just lack of leadership. When you look at the Dubai today and you read the Dubai story, it was just the leader who was able to think into the future and say, what can we make of ourselves? We have no accountability in the system. People are just there to want to amass wealth for themselves. Today, we have all the leaders taking monies, loans from different places, and there's still no change. So for me, the only way change can be implemented is for visionary leadership that is able to provide your basic amenities for people, where you have all that you need to just live a good life. I'm not even saying live an expensive life, just to live a good life. That's what people really want for. You want a system whereby, I put in 10 kobo and I get back my returns. You want a system where things are stable. I don't even want to start to go into the, valuation of the currency at this moment. I know people who took hard-earned monies from abroad, took out loans to come and buy properties in Nigeria, and hoping that, whatever mortgage I'm taking out of here, 4%, I take that money, bring it into Nigeria, and now they are paying through their noses because things have just, the currency has just gone upside down. So these are the things that people face. You just want some level of stability. You want some level of stability where you are sure that I am working and I am living a good life. The truth is, you only live once. That's a slogan we now all push about. You only live once. So everybody wants to make the best of that life that they get to live. Nigeria, you mentioned Nigeria being the giant of Africa. To be candid, my opinion, I think that's just living an old glory. A lot of countries have left us behind. Countries have left Nigeria behind. Yes, we have the resources, we have the human capital, but we have not been able to harness all of those things to make the best of it. So I'll still go back. We need good leadership who will be able to provide the basic amenities that people need, and then equity and justice. You have sacred cows in Nigeria. Well, they're everywhere in the world, but in Nigeria, some people are better than others. Some lives are worse than others. That's just what it is. That's why people leave school, and if you don't know anybody, you just can't get anything done. Like Femi said, there are still a lot of opportunities in the country. But the truth is, for the average man on the street, can they actually get those opportunities? That's why, that can-do spirit that we talk about, the fact that Nigerians adapt easily. So you see them go into a different economy where things work and they thrive.
And they thrive. Yeah.
And they thrive, because things work. The enabling environment is there for them. So for me, that's what it is. It's about creating that enabling environment where things can work. And then you will be shocked that we have brains everywhere in the world. As in, I'm well traveled because of my industry. And I've met people in the holes of the world, different places. You will find Nigerians there. We are everywhere.
That is so true.
Even within Africa. In fact, one of my strategies when I go to write my business plans to start a new route is to go to the spare parts market. I tell you, within 5 minutes, I'll find an Igbo guy.
Wow.
It's everywhere, in Kinshasa, in Banjul. This has worked for me in Nairobi. We are everywhere, enterprising. We just want an enabling environment. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Dayo. Thank you. It answers the question. And I hope everyone that gets to listen to this podcast can, learn a thing or two from that. But most importantly, I hope the African leaders, especially the Nigerian leaders, people in power, I hope they're listening to this, because this is the same voice, regardless of where you go. It's the same voice. Everyone is saying we want an enabling environment. We want an enabling environment. Security, education, great education, not just having 4 walls of a university where the kids, the graduates they come out, they graduate, and one, maybe they can't even get a job. 2, maybe they were not even, well-baked graduates, half-baked graduates, basically. So the enabling environment is important. Equity and justice, as it says, and leadership, accountability, super important. You talk about leadership. With accountability, this is not even just to the leaders, but this is to everyone. My experience, my life in Norway, something, I am in the energy sector, and something occurred to me over my years in Norway is the reason why this people, or the government maybe of Norway, had been able to literally ensure that the resource, the funds, the revenue they get from their hydrocarbon, which is oil and gas, is not wasted, was they created a fund. So in Nigeria, there was a Petroleum Trust Fund. God knows what that is about today. I don't even know. But Norway had been able to create this trust fund, which they've been using to invest in every face of the earth. They own the choicest properties or real estates in UK, that I can say for sure, and also in some such major giant social media of the world. So
sorry to interrupt. The fund they created had a legal framework around it, which says something like you can't touch the principal. The fund has to return this amount of money every year, and then you have to invest that money in certain services for the people of the country. So there was a law that backed everything up. That's to the
Exactly. You're right. You're 1000% correct. And what it is also again, living amongst them, I saw the way these people were. To be fair, look, corruption is everywhere. It's just on different levels, So a lot of people say, oh, Nigeria is so corrupt. Oh my God, Angola is so corrupt. Oh, Brazil is corrupt. And all the corruption is everywhere, but it's on different levels, right? What I saw, or what I've seen in Norway, is people are actually quite content with what they have. And why are they so? Because the system also works. So there wasn't a case of maybe some corrupt leader somewhere, is trying to change something within the law to basically suit themselves, and then they dip their hands into the fund, which may be what has happened in Nigeria. I don't know. Whoever is listening, don't quote me, because I don't know. So I'm not gonna, spend time saying what I'm not sure of. But the hydrocarbons of any country belongs to the people. And as Femi said, the legal terms that had backed, for Norway, backed the oil fund. Why am I using that as an example is because Norway was one of the poorest, if not the poorest country in Europe for a very long time, until they found oil. So now every country wants to, use the Norwegian model to learn. When I say every country, I mean every oil producing country, or every country that has discovered oil or gas. No one is interested in learning from Nigeria, because Nigeria they haven't done what needs to be done. It's sad, because when you look at Dubai, a desert, as Dayo said, he's been everywhere. Look at Dubai, a desert turned into what it is today. I mean, Dubai is not everybody's cup of tea. I have friends who don't like Dubai because they feel it's artificial. They're looking for something natural. But what I try to tell them, it's more than your feeling of, you want something natural. If you want something natural, please fly down to Africa. We have loads of nature there. Go to Latin America. Go to the Far East. You would get a lot of nature there. You get a lot of things that have history. Go to Rome. You find, a lot of things there. But what I'm trying to say to them is, listen, something grew out of a desert because of the foresight of a leader. So this now takes me back to one question that I have that I'm going to put around the table. And I'm going to start with you, Ify. Is there a fear that one day we will become tenants in our own home? Let me explain before any one of you goes, yeah? Especially Ify, because I'm putting this to Ify first. We're looking for an enabling environment. We're looking for a system that works, because nothing works in Nigeria. A lot of things don't work. Maybe a few things work, but majority does not work. There's no predictability of things. The challenges are there. The leadership, let's not even begin. Yeah? However, there are people coming in droves, not just to Nigeria, to other African countries, right? And making investments, buying our lands. Yeah? I will leave it at that. But that's just for you to know that there are people, companies, countries coming into Africa because they do know Africa is, resourceful. The people are there, the resources there. It's the most stunning continent ever. Unfortunately, the people that own the land don't seem to know what to do with it. Yeah, the great migration is happening. People are leaving, going to Canada and to other places because we're looking for something that would work for us, the basic human needs that our leaders can give to us. But is there that fear that one day we will come back home and home just wouldn't be there? Ify, your thoughts on that?
Thank you, Bimbo. First of all, I would like to say that when we refer to home, I personally feel that wherever I'm comfortable, wherever I feel welcome, wherever I find my peace in is home to me. So I'm not going to say that my country of origin is necessarily my home. It's just my country of origin, and my home is where I want to make it to be.
Okay.
So returning back to my country of origin, the fear that if I return back to my country of origin, I'll be a tenant there. Yes, that can possibly happen in the long run if other people that find more value or more benefits in my country of origin have literally overrun it. However, if I decide that, my new home or a place that I call home, if I decide in the long run to, or if Nigerians decide to overrun that place, and there's like cross-migration, somebody likes your own country of origin and you like another person's country of origin, and you make that home and overrun that person's country. I'm playing the devil's advocate here, but I just feel that human beings spread across the world by migration, right? And people went to a particular place and populated the place and called the place their country of origin.
Correct.
Became home to them, right? And if at a certain point in time, other people seem to find value there, and you find value somewhere else, it's home to you, and you've overrun somebody else's country, right? And as long as you're thriving and doing well there, I really don't see this. I don't see any big life-changing disaster in that scenario. However, if Nigerians decide to go back to their country of origin, I feel they'll always be welcome because they know their roots, right? It weren't that. It's not as if they were taken away maybe through slavery to a place they did not know, and through generations they lost contact with their family background and their family home. They know their roots already. So if they go back to visit their country of origin, if they go back to live there and establish there, get one or two things set in there, if they feel if they have the desire to do that, or if the country offers them a conducive atmosphere to do what they want to do at any period of time. I believe that they can always go back, because Nigeria is an accommodating country. Most times though, if you go back home, you always see people back. If you go to your villages, you see people that you can always relate with. So I really don't have that fear of being tenant in my own home, in my country of origin. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ify. Thank you. Yeah. I'm trying to say the best. Okay, I'm going to listen to everyone before I say anything. Dayo, is there a fear that we will become tenants in our own home, in your view? Again, if he has given us her own view, let's hear yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I appreciate where he's coming from. I think I also know where Bimbo is coming from on this question. I'll give you an example. I know recently the president of the country where I reside took a 100-year term loan, meaning they would not need to pay back in 100 years. So meaning you are mortgaging the future of your children. Exactly. And when leaders get to the point where they are just all about the now, some people will argue that yes, if you're a futuristic person and if they need to develop infrastructure and they need to find these monies one way or the other, then they need to find the money if they're unable to, raise the money locally. But while doing that, do you have to mortgage the future of the country? Do you have to mortgage the future of the youths? And that's the problem where we're facing this possibility that one day, just one day, we might just become tenants in our own homes because it's still lack of leadership.
Yes.
It's still lack of leadership, lack of visionary leadership, where we cannot be ingenious to be able to, where we cannot be ingenious enough to come up with ways to be able to develop the country to the way we want it to be, where we cannot be disciplined enough to be able to get things in place and make things work. Unfortunately, we blame the leaders, but we also need to know that the leaders are a product of the followers.
That is correct.
It still comes down to all of us. It comes down to all of us. We have leaders today who fly out and visit places all around the world, but then they come back to their country and then they don't care. It's sad that our leaders will have to go for medical.
You know what, Dayo? I find that despicable. I'm sorry. I find it despicable.
And you go into the budget of that same country and they've put in millions of dollars for the healthcare system that doesn't get implemented. So exactly. The truth is, if things don't change very, very soon, we will not continue to have a country. That's my opinion. We will not. All of the continent of Africa might just not be there for us. Because we cannot wait. We cannot just sit back and think that things will change. Hope is not a strategy. We need to sort that out. So for me, it's a very, very big possibility, something that can happen. And we just hope for the best. Thank you.
Wow. Thanks, Dayo. Femi, your thoughts on this? Is there a fear that we will become tenants in our own home? You guys will notice that I've actually had to repeat this question over and over again because I'm trying to put it not just in my own brain, but whoever listens to this, especially Nigerians, most especially Africans, this is something we need to start thinking about because we have leaders who don't give two. Excuse my French. They don't care. Femi, over to you.
Well, I'm going to talk about it from a different angle, and let me explain my thinking. So Dayo has raised a number of interesting points, which is very true. You spoke about the Norwegian oil fund, and Ify also mentioned a few other things. When I heard you guys talking, I started to really think about it. And I sort of try to approach it across Africa rather than Nigeria.
Yeah.
I tried to think of an African country that was large and did not have problems. And I couldn't really think of one. One of the best African countries, Black African countries, Sub-Saharan African countries for me was Ethiopia. 2 years ago, their president won the Nobel Prize, Peace Prize. And today he's battlefront, leading the army against other parts of his country. I think about South Africa. The current president is a businessman. He's a proper businessman. He's created businesses, he's led companies, he's worked in diverse industries. And South Africa is going through one of the worst economic times that they've seen in a while. And then when I come back to Nigeria, of course, it's our situation is a mess. So I start to agree with Dayo that yes, maybe I don't think we will become tenants in our country, but if leadership doesn't change, if leadership doesn't become different from what we've seen so far, it might become a situation where we don't have anything to live for in our countries anymore, and everybody just flees for other countries. For example, one of the key things that has started over the last 10 years is Nigerians are now okay with trying to use to reach Europe through Libya. Libya is a country at war, and we're okay with that. We're that desperate to leave Nigeria that we'll go all the way up by road, though, not flights or anything, by road, taking all the risks and go all the way up. And so yes, I'm worried. But the other thing I want to also point out is Nigeria's problems did not start today.
True.
Let me paint a picture with youth unemployment. So since maybe when Nigeria was created, and I'm not trying to focus on a particular part of Nigeria to make my point, it's just that this is the best way to make it. In the north, you have the Almajiri educational system. This system says at a certain age, you will take your children, put them with Quranic scholars who will teach them Quranic education, right? Now, when you put them with these Quranic scholars, those guys will teach them, right? But then they will also teach them how to beg. They will beg, and that's how they feed themselves. At the end of the day, they are learning two things. They're learning how to beg and Quranic instructions. When it is time to then become a productive member of society, they don't have the skills, they don't have the tools, they're not able to get a proper job, right? How do they contribute purposefully? They can't unless they go to farming. They can't. So you have a situation that's developed over the last 30, 40 years. And our leadership has never, ever really tried to focus on that. So you had presidents as far back as Gowon, you had presidents as far back as Murtala Mohammed, and none of them did anything about this. We discovered crude oil way back in the 1960s, late 1960s, right? We never tried to create a fund. We never put a structure in place. The underlying regulation that we used to regulate our petroleum industry was put in place in the 1970s. It was never updated until last year. So it is about the leaders. It is that we creating and putting in place the world's worst leaders. If we can get leadership right at all levels, so it's not just the president, it is the local government chairman, it is the state house of reps, it is the governors in every state. I mean, in Nigeria, the worst state in the world when it comes to transportation and road network is Abia State. That are horrendous, and that is in the southeast. It's not in the north. So my conclusion here is, hopefully we will not become tenants, but hey, if we keep voting for the worst leaders possible across every level, we might find ourselves in that situation. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. You have all said really poignant, important, points. Basically, you've made important points, and it's something for us to sit back, go back to the drawing board, influence people in a very positive way, and see how we can make things work. I hear Ify's views, and I hear you, Dayo. I hear you, Femi. My concerns. I don't live in Nigeria myself. I sort of spend my time between the UK and Norway these days. Do I want to come back home? At some point, I feel like I want to. A story that I tell a lot of people, especially Ugandans, when they hear me, is my first time in Uganda. I went to do some presentation for the Petroleum Commission in Uganda and the ministry there, together with my colleague, who was at the time, this was in 2016. And he was at the time probably 54. I don't know. Yeah, obviously he's no longer 54 now, but he's no longer my colleague as well. He's moved on. We got to Uganda. I stepped out of the plane and I was like, wow, where is this place? What is this place? I felt an instant peace and I felt at home. I was still at the airport. And then I said to Henrik, my colleague at the time, I said, Henrik, this is beautiful and different. This is amazing. And he goes, Bim, welcome to the Pearl of Africa. And then I looked at him, I was like, what did you say? He said, well, we call it Pearl of Africa. I said, oh, yeah, I'm sure you all do. He got the gist and we both laughed. What am I trying to say here is our continent is so beautiful. And the people that are coming in and buying the lands, they know that. Not only is it beautiful, we have the resources, we have everything, but we have not done anything to do justice to it. When Africans try to do something, they get, taken out, without me saying too much, or they're discouraged. When I say taken out, I don't mean they get, migrated. No, let's use our imagination for the rest, and the leaders are just destroying the continent. But then again, we won't put all on the leaders, as I think it was Femi that mentioned that, or maybe Dayo also mentioned it as well, it's also a reflection of the people, because the leaders are a reflection of the people. Who are we voting for? How are the leaders getting to that leadership position? And sometimes we do vote for the right people, but then when they get to the position, do they do the right things? Are our leaders puppets to some other leaders of the world? Because what is really going on? Why would a continent that has everything be the poorest? And yet, people from other places are coming in and buying the lands. Because who owns the land and who owns the sea controls, the environment, controls the country, controls the continent, or whatever the case may be. So these are things we really need to start thinking about, in as much as wherever we are and we feel comfortable is home. But we also have to think about where we can lay claim to. I cannot lay claim to England. No. Do I have a land in England? No. The Queen is not going to give me any land. Why would she give me that? But I have land in Nigeria. And I can have land in Uganda, as I've been promised by a Ugandan friend. You see what I mean? Can I get a land or lay claim to a land in Norway? No. It's not my forefathers' land. In as much as anywhere we feel comfortable is home, we also have to just have at the back of our mindset what we want to give to the future. Our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, where would they call home, literally? where would they be seen and welcome, basically, as a part of them? Of course, you can be welcome anywhere, and you can feel comfortable anywhere, and you can call anywhere home. But where your roots are, hopefully that doesn't get taken away, as a lot of things have been taken away, and we are watching them being taken away thanks to the leaders that we have who do not have the foresight. So it's a very, it's a broad topic that we've actually spoken about today. You know, it started with a great migration to Canada. Canada being an amazing country. I have been there. I love Vancouver. I'm hoping to go back there again. I enjoyed Calgary. I can't say I love Calgary. It just reminds me of Aberdeen. So yeah, but I do have family in Calgary, and I have friends in Calgary as well, like Ify as well. So yes, this has been an interesting topic, and I hope we can speak more on this as time goes on, and maybe we now we need to start to talk about solutions, and for me, solutions starts from education, and education also starts from home, because what you teach from home is what translates to what kids learn in school, and it's also how the children can handle, kids, youth, everyone, and as we all grow, can handle our lives regardless of where we go to. And as Dayo said, every part where he's been and he's traveled the world, a lot of us here, four of us here, we've all traveled the world. We've been to different places. We've lived in different places. We know everywhere we go to, we actually see Nigerian. I found my first time in Norway in 2012, I found an Igbo guy. I know he's Igbo because I know the Igbo accent. In the middle of nowhere in Norway. And I said, yes, that is my people. So, so yes, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, we could go on and on and on with this conversation today, but we have to come to an end, as everything else that has a beginning must have an end. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I personally have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, and I hope you have too. And I hope it's opened up some thoughts for you, something for you to think about, and and talk about, within your social circle, even, wherever you are. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you, Femi. Thank you, Dayo. Ify, I hope you're still there. Thank you. Thank you so much. So a big thank you to our listeners. And please, I and my friends here, we all expect you to put in your comments. Let's hear from you. Let's hear what you would like us to talk about, next time or some other time. Let's hear what you think. If you're African, if you're Nigerian, let's hear what you think. Is Canada your home now? Is United Kingdom your home? Is the Netherlands your home? Is Ghana or Rwanda your home? Let's hear from you, why you've moved, why you would make it your new home. And if you ever want to go back to where you call your country, could be the Congo, could be Botswana. If you ever want to go back, what do you expect your government to have in place, and who are the people that are leading, and what are the basic things, the basic necessities that they're making available to the people that would also make you want to go home and implement changes as well from the things you have learned and experienced in your current country of residence or of nationality even. So thank you to all of you again, our listeners, and until next time, it's Bim from BlueSitron. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you and goodbye.